standing next to the tall portal. The arc of it is intricate and marvelous. The portal is mirror-like with swirling colors. It's quite disorienting, but you can see it now. The Orilium Academy. You made it. You know this portal will finally lead you to Orilium, a coveted city atop of the most powerful floating rock on the planet. It's beautiful. You can feel your own magic strengthen just due to the proximity of the place, and you cannot wait to learn from those who have mastered their skills. You're here. Hello, welcome to the consequences to your actions. And congratulations on surviving the novice path. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you for just joining me in this journey. I really hope you had fun. We have read so many books. Again, we still have one day left, and I know some people will be logging theirs at the very end, so I'm not gonna clock and count the final number now. I think I will include that in my wrap up instead. Boy, you guys did it as you always do. It's a number that doesn't quite register in my brain. I can't really picture it mentally. It's amazing. I'm very impressed by you guys, as always. So thank you for joining, and I hope you had fun and maybe even found a new favorite, or at least an okay one. That's what we're aiming for. If you've been following Orilium on either Orilium Discord or the Twitter, both linked below, you would have seen the narration of the path and our journey there. 5 of these times included a choice for your character to make, which I hinted at the announcement video as well. So today we're here to see what those choices actually mean and where do they lead to. If you don't use social media or just didn't want to try and keep up with the announcements there will also be in the G drive below, there will be a new file just called the Path Story. This is the whole narration of the journey that we went on in full, and I would highly recommend having a cup of tea and reading the whole story just so you make your choices fully informed. If you don't want to, you can just open this file right here, which is going to be named The Choices, which is a very short summary of what the choices were. I can't stress enough how shorter that is, so it really doesn't go into the detail that the full text goes. So I would say try and read that. It's not that long and hopefully not too painful to read. I am not a writer. I grew up in the 90s. If you are my age or older, you surely will remember the good old quizzes of personality type being in the magazines, you know. Which of the Charmed sisters are you? What type of dog are you? I guess this was BuzzFeed before the internet, and it was good old pen and paper. And that is what we're gonna do today as well. So again, all of these printables will be linked in the G drive afterwards, so you can do that on your own time. But if you're watching this with me, I thought it would be really fun to go through it together, and it will be naturally a bit easier for me to explain bits as we go. So in the first instance, you will need to remember or select what choice you made. And then we will also take a piece of paper and a pen. I'll give you a second to do that. And we're going to go and assign each answer to a shape. So we have a circle, a diamond, a triangle, and a square. Question number 1 was to deal with the ash thorn tree, this wonderful, amazing, marvelous, massive tree that emits whispers and is covered in unknown runes, glyphs, and symbols. And you, as someone who's very hungry for knowledge, it's very tempting, but you know for a fact you need a permit to study this particular tree. But there's no one really around to stop you. So for your character, again, not necessarily you, your character, now option A was that you respect nature and the guidelines put in place. So you took it in, admire it for a little bit, and move on. Option B, you knew not to mess with anything, any type of writing that you don't know the origins of, but you still note down a couple of them as you pass the tree by in your parchment so you can study it later, because it's just too tempting not to. Option C was that the writing is not really what intrigued you the most, it's the whispers. You wonder what sort of stories they can tell, and then you come back during the night, sit down next to the tree to meditate and align with it and see if you can figure out what these voices and what stories they're wanting to tell. Option D, your personal belief and your philosophy is that magic of all sorts is supposed to be shared. That's where it's supposed to coexist with everyone. So you also come back after dark and you touch the tree. You try to siphon the magic to learn it, because obviously you will need it, and also to honor it by making it still present and relevant. If your answer is A, doodle yourself a circle. If your answer was B, draw a diamond. If your answer was C, then you get a triangle. And if your answer is D, you get a square. Moving on to the most terrifying of places, the mist of solitude. So this is a mist that isolates you entirely, so much so that when you actually inhale the little droplets of the mist, it shows you your own deepest, terrible fear that you might even not know that you have. You're fully aware that the droplets is what's causing the hallucinations, and what is your character doing to pass this mist? Option A, that you transmute the droplets into solid marble balls that fall to the ground, and then you can pass through that narrow passageway that you just made for yourself, constantly transmuting the droplets into solid state. Option B is that you took the time to analyze and actually overcome your fear, so you can still see the hallucinations, but they don't affect you that much, and you can push through them and actually escape the mist still. Option C is that you conjure a dust devil, which obviously is a term for a little twist of the wind, a little small tornado. However, I imagine it as a little, almost like a goblin with a broom, because I just think that would be fun. Just swatting away the mist out of your way as you walk. Or option D is that you try to calm yourself and also minimize the input. You close your eyes, but you touch the ground with your hands and your feet and connect with nature and let the ground guide you out. So if your answer was A, you get a diamond. If your answer was B, you get a triangle. If it was a C, it's a square. And if your answer is D, it's a circle. Next up, we visited the ruins of the sky. However, whilst those were marvelous and very impactful, we found a hooded, shadowed figure that was standing all weird and unnatural, and it looked like it was almost broken and limp. But you can't really make out too much about the figure, but you get a sense that it's not supposed to be here. But what is your first instinct? Is it A, to attempt and slip near their conscious mind and get their intentions and their state, so get a read on them? Option B was that they could be injured. They look like they could be injured, so you scan their body for any injuries that might need healing. C is that you don't really care about the figure because these ruins are such a magical mix of nature and people that you're still preoccupied with this amazing astronomy mural, and you really could care less about the person. And option D is that you are immediately suspicious and your first instinct is to protect yourself and the group, so you activate a glyph of protection to do so. If you chose to attempt a mind read, you get a triangle. If you chose B, you get a square. If you chose C, you get a circle, and a D is a diamond. Next up was the Obsidian Falls, this beautiful collection of waterfalls that are entirely black during the day but are iridescent of so many colors when the moonlight hits them during the night. So that was again all nice and good, but you do realize that when you were fighting the figure in the previous stop, they pricked you, and they pricked your whole party, and you are feeling very much poisoned. You're experiencing all of the symptoms and you're about to lose consciousness. So is everyone else, so no one's going to help you. You're on your own. What do? Option A is you look for a herbal remedy. Plants around you, and you know that there's always something you can do because you know your plants so well. Option B is that you look for the first aid kit and then tinker with it and change it and construct a magical apparatus that tests your blood and kind of filters it throughout again to take the poison out. Option C, you gather yourself, you focus your mind, and you use a trick that you can't repeat often, but it's a good one. You jump through time to the exact moment in time where you got pricked, and you avoid the prick. You can't change anything else, but you change that bit, which obviously leads you in this particular moment to not be poisoned. And option D is that you grit your teeth and you ask for a healing magic. You summon some restorative magic. It takes longer. It's not a pleasant experience. It's thorough work, and you know 100% that it's going to work. And pain is to be mortal after all, and they like you to remember that. Seems like I forgot to record this bit, but a circle for A, a diamond for B, triangle for C, and D gets a square. Very last bit was the visit to the Tower of Rumination. I really hope you guys enjoyed the character that was waiting for you there. I know I did. And when you entered that round chamber with the pillars, you saw 4 extremely rare, very valuable scrolls that held knowledge in their particular schools of magic or topics. Whilst there were 4 of them, you are of course only allowed to take 1. So which one did you choose? Was it A, Scroll of Lore, which is your magical history as well as fables and tales of old? Scroll of Shapeshifting was option B. Option C is Scroll of Inscription, which is magical writing on different objects or things and making them and imbuing them with magical writing. And option D is Scroll of Illusions. If you chose Lore, you get a square. If you chose Shapeshifting, you get a circle. If you chose Inscription, you get a diamond. And if you chose Illusions, you get a triangle. So now you should have 5 shapes. And you will either have one shape that repeated the most, be that 3, 4, or 5 times even, or you will have 2 sets of 2 shapes. So maybe you'll have 2 circles and 2 triangles and then one other shape. Make a note of the shape that repeated the most, or if you had a tie, make a note of both of those shapes. And now a messenger crow lands on your shoulder, and his little beak, he has a scroll. Inside of that scroll is an invitation to a guild. These guilds were observing your choices and your actions and your behavior throughout your path. They think that you would be a brilliant addition to their ranks. Now, if you have one shape, you are very clearly in that guild. If you have tied and you have 2 options, then you can pick. So guilds, they are a society within Orilium. They're very close-knit. They have certain advantages that they will provide you. However, please don't worry. It doesn't limit you whatsoever. You can still do whatever you like. It will just open some additional things that you can do. So these are the societies, sororities, however you would like to call them. Each guild will have something unique that they can offer you. There will be a little bit about them, but they will also have the unique calling, which is like a unique career that is only open to you as an option if you are in the guild. A unique gift, an ability, or an item that the guild will teach you how to use. These are the things that you don't need to worry at the moment about, but it's also just more so, you know, flavor to your character as well. And a gift option and a conduit, you will also notice that it was on your character sheet. A conduit is an item you channel your magic through. So it could be a wand, it could be a staff, it could be a hammer, a sword. Each of the guilds will also offer a unique conduit choice, something that's not available as a tool for other guilds. However, there will be a list next year of the conduits that are available for everyone. So you're not limited to the unique choice of the guild. You will have a list of all of the things that you can pick regardless. It's just an extra thing. As I said, it's not limiting, it's just an extra thing. You'll also have guild specialties that are the schools of magic that are their strengths. It's just something you would be likely to exceed at if you're in this guild because of the perks provided. This is similar to your affinity when you chose your heritage, but again, more will be explained next year. You don't really have to worry about it, but it's just for fun to know. And the last thing is a guild access, which is a members only special access place inside Orilium City. That being said, let me introduce you to your new guild. If your most common shape is a circle, congratulations, you're invited to the Order of the Crescent. Yay! So the Order of the Crescent is all about natural magic. Their specialties lie in shapeshifting, elemental magic, and animal studies. They are very connected to Earth. They go on expeditions to learn to harness this connection and use it for power and energy. And you have some big celebrations that are, you know, like equinox and solstice, where you all gather together and have a little ritual as well. You have the access to Crescent Grove, which is a grove, a beautiful garden where you can escape from the city and have a moment to yourself. That is also where the celebrations happen. Your unique calling is Master of Elements. Think Avatar. Your unique gift is an animal familiar. You will be taught how to create lifelong bond with an animal that will always be by your side, how to communicate with them, how to learn special magic that you will share with them, and you have a little animal familiar to yourself. The unique conduits include quarterstaff, a bow, and a trident. So this guild I think has the most of them. And your colors are teal and gold. Every guild will have gold, but you also have a teal. And this is your sigil. Welcome to your guild. If the shape you have the most is a diamond, congratulations, you are invited to join the House of the Arcane. This is a house that focuses the most on the science of magic. They are very logic and research driven. You find that some members can be a little bit unhinged because they're just so focused on what they're working on that social skills don't always shine, but they also know how to have fun. They have these meetings where they have to just like party it out, you know? So they work hard, but they also play hard. You get access to the Great Arcane Laboratory where a variety of never seen and never truly tested and approved equipment is that you can use for your own research and tinkering with things. The specialties lie within alchemy, transmutation, inscription, and artificery, something very blueprint driven, very experimental, could be taught by writing things and following instructions as well. Your unique conduits include an orb and a crystal. A unique calling option is an archmage. And your unique gift is an enchanted artifact, which is an item that has been upgraded to give you a special ability. There will be a list next year to pick from, don't worry, you'll be able to pick just one, similar to like how the scrolls worked in the 5th choice, and I hope it will be fun. I guess a thing to mention about the House of the Arcane as well is that you can, if you focus on artificery and you have very masterful skills in that, you can create yourself somewhat of a familiar, but it's going to be a mechanical type. And the House of the Arcane colors are purple and gold. And welcome to your new guild. If the shape that you have most often is a triangle, congratulations, you are invited to become a member of the mindwalkers. The mindwalkers focus mostly on cognitive magic, are more so almost about unspoken things and willpower and mind power driven things. Their specialties are in illusion and playing with perception. It's not common between the mindwalkers to believe that time is linear. So because of the belief that time is indeed not linear, divination is also a field that they dip their toes in. Because if time is not linear, there must be ways to predict things or at least see what's most likely to happen. We also have enchantments and incantations, which is probably the broadest. That's like all of your spells and all of your incantations. As well as psionics, which is telekinesis and telepathy. So things like communicating within your minds and moving things with your minds. So even without having to say anything. The thing that is being taught a lot to mindwalkers is psychology, something that's not necessarily taught in Orilium itself, so it's more of an extra thing because they truly believe that knowing a person inside and out is really important in how you approach the situation, being that a colleague or an enemy thrive on knowing the situation and thinking it over, and also being sneaky and being sometimes manipulative, but also, you know, playing with perception. And the unique calling is dream walking. Their unique gift is a secondary plane of existence. This is also going to be a list next year where you can pick one plane of existence that you can escape to, explore, learn about, communicate with things and beings on the other side. And it's an ability that you can channel. Their guild access is a mind palace, which is this really bizarre place with numerous chambers that are quite hard to remember, and you probably won't be able to go into every one of them. Might depend on your plane of existence that you have, but just imagine a place that has like rooms for learning and dueling, rooms full of illusions, rooms that take you to the plane of undead, a sensory deprivation chamber, a little bit of everything, no one really knows. And the colors are black and gold. So welcome to your new guild. And last but definitely not least, if you got a square, congratulations, you are invited to join the archivists. The archivists are the lore keepers. They thrive on knowing things. They chase stories that are forgotten. They chase fables that are no longer being told. A big goal of theirs is to find stories and lore of the gods that are forgotten and actually find a way to resurrect them and also connect with them. The unique gift of the archivist is to make a pact with a god. A list will be provided next year. And once you make a pact with a god, you have this connection with them and you can be granted miracles or gifts or healing or creatures that can be next to you. In turn, you keep their magic alive and you keep them alive by doing so. The guild specialties are conjuration, so conjuring things into being. Restoration, they are known to be excellent healers that can join any party because a healer is always wanted. Demonology, make a pact with a demon instead of a god if you so wish to do. And lore, naturally. Their special guild access is the Ample Archive, which is a massive library that starts on ground level and then goes all the way down on the crater that the Orilium stands on, and it goes all the way to the very tip at the bottom. So it's like a spirally archive library, and it's epic. The unique conduit choices include a polearm and a bone, and their unique calling is Godseer. And the colors are white and gold. And welcome to your new guild. So these are your guilds. I really hope that you are happy with what you got. Again, there's no hard rules. If you really want to be in another one, I'm sure that you can make it work and, politely decline the one you were invited to and try and get into the other one. I think it's more fun to stick with what you got, but it's, again, totally up to you. I'm just here to have a good time. That's it. It's more fun to you, go for it. Again, if you tied and you got two options, just pick one that calls to you and makes most sense for your character. These will be linked down below for you in the G Drive to download as well. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And in our Discord, our lovely Wout is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly actually, but is going to set up the sorting, and you will each have a guild chat that only the guild members can see and chat with each other, so you can see who's belonging to your guild and get to know each other. Let me know in the comments which one you got and if you're happy with it. I think that's the end of the cosplay for now, at least. It's been fun. Oh, if you're curious, I thought I was going to be the archivist, but I'm not. I'm actually the House of the Mindwalkers, which makes sense the more I think about it, but I was surprised. And similarly, Logan's character Jacques is actually the archivist, so, which we thought he might be in the Order of the Crescent, but he isn't, and again, it made sense later. He will have to learn how to read better though. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!